Family, what it do? It's your girl Toot, and I am back with another video. Shout out to the family, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming back and tuning in. All you got to do is like, comment, share, and subscribe. That's all you got to do to support the channel, and it's absolutely free. Follow me on all of my platforms, my Toot Reacts channel, and also follow me on my streaming platforms. Tap in with Toot. You hear me? Now listen, you guys. We have been uncovering The Perfect Neighbor. Now I know you guys probably seen this documentary on Netflix. If you have not seen it, I beg of you to tap into it. This is a type of situation that's going on in the world to this day. Racism is still alive and it's very loud. Sometimes we just turn deaf ears to that shit, but it's out here, okay? We've been doing a deep dive, and we have went over some of the witness testimony. We went over the police testimony, and today we're going to go over the forensics testimony. Now, for the people who don't know what's going on or what the perfect neighbor is, this was something that transpired between two neighbors, all right? One was white, an older white lady. Another young lady, she was in her mid-20s, you know what I'm saying, and she was black. The white lady did not like children and children making noise and all types of things. This lady had called the police upwards of 13 plus times, okay, just for the police also to get very aggravated. Now, fast forward to the day of the killing. One day the white lady did something terrible to one of the young lady's kids. You know what I'm saying? She then came over there to the white lady's house to confront her. Before she can even talk to the lady, the white lady shot through the door, striking her and killing her in front of her kids. Now, what makes this very terrible was that this lady has had no remorse. If you missed the interrogation moments with her and anything else, you can go right on my Tootie Uncensored page and click the My Perfect Neighbor tab, and you'll be able to get caught up on everything, okay? So we're about to get into the forensics testimony now. I think this is going to be Taylor Paxton that's coming up. Let me move me down. And without further ado, we about to slide into it. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Let's get it.
Raise your hand for me. You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Ma'am, have a seat, please. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Taylor Paxton. I am a forensic DNA technician for the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
Before you became a forensic DNA technician, what did you do?
I also want to throw in here, because this is the part that fucked me up. Now, from the time that Susan called the police, right, and hung up the phone and said there was somebody outside banging, within 2 minutes' time, this lady was unalived. And she wanted to make a point that she feared for her life behind a locked door that had a bolt on it. You know what I'm saying? She had a weapon in the house, and then she was already waiting on the police. But from the time she hung up and the time that this lady was unalive was a matter of 2 minutes. So I want you guys to understand that part, because I don't even understand how a person can be threatened in a time less than that. But let's keep going.
For the sheriff's office.
Before I was a DNA technician, I was a law dispatcher for about a year and a half.
Are you also a crime scene investigator?
I am.
How long have you been doing crime scene investigation work for the sheriff's office?
I'm cross-trained with it with DNA, so about 2.5 years.
How long have you been with the sheriff's office in total?
About 4 years.
Can you describe for the jury your training and experience that allows you to do crime scene work?
I have a bachelor's degree with the University of South Florida for interdisciplinary social sciences, training through the National Forensic Science and Technology Center, as well as 6 months on-the-job training for DNA and about 4 months on-the-job training for crime scene investigation.
Have you heard the term processing a scene?
Yes, I have.
Can you describe for the jury what that means and what it involves?
Typically that will involve taking photographs or overalls of the scene. Sometimes it'll be also a video, and then you will investigate the scene, see if there's anything of potential value, and then you will collect those items if necessary.
Do you often, especially if the scene is such as a homicide type scene or some kind of a more complicated scene, do you work in teams?
Often, yes.
And why is that?
There's usually a lot to process, a lot to collect, and it's just crime scene techs helping each other.
Are there different ways to collect different types of evidence?
Yes, there are.
What do you mean by that?
So some items might be swabbed, some items might be collected whole. It all depends on the scenarios.
I truly believe though, I truly believe that Shalita, that she really intentionally meant to shoot one of them children. You dig? I really believe that's what she was, and I don't think that she was really expecting for the mother to really be there. But like honestly speaking, she could have hit any one of those kids, because most of the time, you know, when a parent is going over there to address an adult, you're gonna bring your child with you. You just so your child you can be like, so what happened? And you have all parties there. I'm just thankful that them kids wasn't with her, man, and then one of the kids got struck.
Some items may only have fingerprints on them, which you collect the fingerprints off of them. It all depends on what needs to be collected.
And are you trained in the different methods of collecting and processing different types of evidence?
Yes, I am.
When you collect or find a piece of evidence that you think could be relevant to something, explain to the jury what you do with it if you're going to take it into custody and collect it.
If I'm going to take it into custody, first off, I will take an overall photo of it. So that's just a general photo of the area with the item in it. Then I'll take a mid-range photo of it, which is a closer-up photo, and then a close-up photo, which is just the item itself. Then I might label it with what's called an easel, which is like a yellow tent with a number on it, and then I will take more photos of it and then collect the item in a paper bag.
You said you put it in a paper bag?
Yes.
Once you collect it and put it in a paper bag, what do you do with it?
It will then be sealed. We put our tag on it. It depends on what it is, but it'll be the case number, our initials, the date, all that kind of information, and then it will be taken into custody.
And how do you seal it?
That will be sealed with a type of evidence tape all the way around all the openings.
That's another way how you know that the Detroit Police Department did not do their job when it came down to the Naziah Harris case. Because when they stumble upon the pink bodysuit, the sneaker, and things like that, you had so many people that was able to come in and out of that crime scene, you know what I'm saying, with the stuff still being there. Now, we seen it go through 3 different type of videos, and that should just not have happened. I don't understand why none of that shit was bagged and tagged. There's no way that a little boy should have been able to stumble upon a crime scene with evidence still there. That's why it was a lot of shit when it came down to the clothes that they found. I always believed that it was a plant.
What do you do with that tape to make sure that a year or so down the road, people know that you were the one that collected it?
That will be tagged, so that will have my initials and my unit ID on it.
Let me direct your attention to Friday, June 2nd of 2023. Did you respond to a residence located at 1662 Southwest 107th Lane in Ocala? Specifically Unit 3.
Yeah, if I may, it was technically both 107th Lane and 108th Lane, but yes, it was on a curve.
Is that in Marion County?
Yes, it is.
Can you describe for the jury the type of structure that location, that apartment 3, is part of?
Unit 3 or Apartment 3, it's part of a building called a quadplex, so it's essentially 4 separate apartments that are built into one building.
When you arrived, was there already a yellow crime scene put up around the area?
Yes, there was.
Can you tell the jury a picture of what was going on when you arrived?
So it's about 10 o'clock at night, so it's pretty dark. I get there, there's multiple Marion County Sheriff's Office personnel on scene, pretty much just talking to the bystanders nearby. There was crime scene tape wrapped around what I would consider the east or the right side yard area by this unit, and there was several items scattered throughout the yard.
Without telling me what was said, because the rules in this situation don't let me ask you what other people said, but were you given an update or a briefing on the status of the investigation up to the point where you arrived?
Yes, I was.
Does that information help you in processing a scene and determining what things are relevant versus not relevant?
Yes, it does.
Did you take photos of the residence?
Of the exterior and yard area, yes.
Did you ever go inside Unit 3, the residence?
No, I did not.
Was that somebody else's role?
Correct.
And who was that?
That was Catherine Medina.
And who is she?
She's, at the time she was a crime scene investigator, now she's a supervisor.
As far as your role in this case, was it primarily focused on the outside area?
Yes, that's correct.
Your Honor, may I have access to the TV, please? Showing you photograph 7 of States 1. What does this show?
This is the front yard area of Unit 3.
And where is the front door to Susan Lorinc's residence?
If you see the middle green mailbox, it's just above that. So just behind that big tree.
Just behind the tree, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. We see the yellow tape strung up. What is that?
That's the crime scene tape, sectioning off that area.
Showing you photograph 8 of States 1. What do we see here?
That's just to the right of the image that you just saw. So it's the rest of the yard and more crime scene tape.
Between the residence that you were called out to investigate and the residence to the right of that, is there a relatively large open field?
Yes, there is.
Showing you photograph 9 of States 1. You mentioned some yellow easels to mark evidence. What do we see here?
You can't really see the ones in the back, but the one in the front, you can see one of the roller skates with an easel labeled 1.
I mean, can we see it?
Now, was this skate at easel 1, was that located outside of the crime scene tape?
Yes, it was.
Did you have any involvement in putting up the crime scene tape and determining how big to make the area?
No, I did not.
Did you collect that roller skate?
Yes, I did.
Yes, sir.
Can we look to mark the tape for the case identification? What is that?
This is a green and black roller skate from easel 1. May I have gloves?
Small, medium, large?
Medium is fine.
She said, don't be put my DNA on a shit. I don't blame her. You been a goddamn...
Sorry. Thank you.
Is that item sealed like you previously described with evidence tape?
Yes, it is.
Love you back, Charger girl.
Seal?
Yes, it does.
Right. Can you just open that up when you get a chance to look inside and tell me to recognize the contents? Scissors be easier.
Possibly. Thank you. Yes, it is. Sorry, yes, it is.
What's inside?
Oh, it is a black and green roller skate.
Is it the same, substantially the same condition as when you collected it that evening?
Yes, it is.
This time state would move H into evidence as 7.
Objection.
Without objection?
Correct, no objection.
Without objection states A should be in evidence as number what?
7?
7.
Yes.
Can you imagine being a parent and you tell your kid to go outside and play like any other normal day, you feel me? And then all of a sudden, your kid coming back in the house like, mama, this lady's disrespecting me. So as a parent, you know what I mean, you try to do the parent thing, especially when this is the same lady that has been bothering your ass over and over again. So you going over to the house just like any other motherfucking normal day, and you get shot. And now you're not a mother to your 4 children no more. And your 4 kids have to watch you die. That blows me over a skate. A skate.
Can you just take it out and show it to the jury?
Oh, sure.
Did you find any other roller skates in that tape golf area?
Yes, I did.
Actually, I went ahead. Is that photograph 10 of States 1? Is that just a close-up of the skate you just showed?
Yes, it is.
Where are the other 2 the other roller skates that you mentioned?
You can kind of see them. They're on the right side of the screen. I believe they're marked 2 and 3.
showing you states, or photograph 12 of States 1. Is this just a close-up of those two skates?
Yes, it is.
Showing you photograph 13 of States 1. What does this show?
It's a blue and white pineapple pattern roller skate.
Now, I know I ain't the smartest person, but as you can see, the 3 where the skates is located, okay, is farther away from the no trespassing sign. So that's her place over there behind the no trespassing sign. So I don't even understand how these skates would have bothered her, because this belongs into the open lot that was given, where they was given the okay to play at. So that's already just, to me, what the fuck?
Those two skates?
Yes, it is.
Showing you photograph 13 of States 1. What does this show?
It's a blue and white pineapple pattern roller skate.
Showing those marked states to the eye for identification. Did you collect that skate that you see in the photo?
Yes, I did.
Can you open it up, look inside, tell me if you recognize the contents, please.
Yes, I do.
What is it?
Actually, if I may, this is from easel 3.
Oh, I handed it the wrong one. Not all.
Apologies.
Let me show you first. Let me show you.
Childish Bambino, me too.
Yes. easel
Thanks
2.
for the
Is
sub,
it also
Childish.
sealed?
Yes, it
Can
is.
you open it up, look inside, tell me if you recognize the contents?
Yes.
What is it?
It's a blue and white pineapple roller skate.
Same one we see in the picture?
Yes.
Is it in the same or substantially the same condition as when you collected it?
Yes.
This time state would move J into evidence as state 8.
No objection.
States J being evidence is number 8. Without objection.
And photograph, showing you photograph 14 of States 1. What does this show?
Excuse me. The other roller skate, another blue and white pineapple pattern roller skate.
Is that the skate in that bag that I gave you first?
Yes, it is.
Can you open that up, look inside, tell me if you recognize it?
Yes, it is.
What is it?
It's a blue and white pineapple pattern roller skate.
Is that in the same or substantially the same condition as when you collected it?
Yes, it is.
This time state would move I into evidence as state 9.
No objection.
Without objection, states I being evidence is states number 9.
Would you please remove one of the skates? They're the same, aren't they?
Yes.
This lady had a plan to get up to that morning and unalive that lady. She had everything prepared. She had what she was going to do when it came down to calling the police. She had every intention to shoot this lady. I almost want to say that she baited one of that girl's kids just to do this. You're not going to tell me different. It's my personal opinion, all right? It's my personal opinion. I'm saying it as a PSA. It's my personal opinion. And any old-ass lady, you know what I mean, who choose to pick a community to live in that's full of children, that do not like children, should get their face bit the fuck off. I will bite her face off.
Showing you again photograph 12 of state 1. About how far away were those skates from the patio entrance to Ms. Lorinc's residence?
Approximately, I would say 20 to 30 feet. Not terribly far.
Show you photograph 15 of state 1. What do we see here?
It looks like a red piece of clothing and a sign, and also the patio of Unit 3.
The patio that we see in the front door, or the front portion here, this door, is that the door to Ms. Lorinc's residence?
That is correct.
Showing you photograph 16 of states 1. What does this show?
It's the victim's red t-shirt.
Were you made aware that the victim was treated in that area and had clothing removed to help treat her?
That's correct.
Showing you again photograph 15 of States 1. We see an easel in the top right next to a sign. What easel number is that?
That's easel 5.
And what was found there?
It was a no trespassing private property type sign.
Showing you photograph 17 of States 1. Can you describe that sign?
It was just a plastic black and white sign that said private property on it.
Are those the kind of signs that you can go and just buy at Lowe's?
Yes.
What are they made out of?
I-
Oh, are they like heavy duty? Are they
No.
things?
It's like a piece of plastic, nothing too sturdy.
And was the sign just stuck in the ground like this when you saw it?
Yes, it was.
And photograph 18 of States 1, is that just the opposite side of the same sign?
That's the opposite side.
Thank you, ma'am. No other questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
For the people who watched with us the other day, when the police arrived, the police had already instructed his rookie partner that this was a place that pretty much this was the hood. All right. So when he got to the scene, he stepped over the victim, walked past the victim to go to subdue or detain Susan. Now, the part I didn't agree with is because 10 minutes had went by while he's trying to subdue this other lady after she had already explained and expressed to the dispatcher that she had put the gun up, you know what I'm saying, where she put the gun up. And to me personally, they should have just had the lady standing on the porch getting ready to come out. I feel like they didn't care to treat this lady. They didn't have a sense of urgency because they had already deemed it being the hood. And most of the time when you have an elderly Caucasian, you feel what I'm saying? They're going to automatically favor them than us. And that's what makes the situation so fucked up. Like, you do not go and live in a cul-de-sac that's going to be full of children if you can't take noise from children or you don't like children outside playing. You go and you live in an assisted living facility. You don't go and live in the middle of the hood. You just don't do that.
Good afternoon.
Actually,
You said that you took photos of the location
yes,
outside of the residence.
correct.
May I approach the witness?
Yes, ma'am.
I am showing you what's been marked by identification as defensive exhibit B.
Okay.
What is it?
This is the yard area where the 2 roller skates were found in the sign.
You go ahead and thumb through it and see if what else is in that pile.
Okay. Picture of the shirt. Yard around the area, the patio area. A close-up of the back door. Excuse me, the sliding glass door. Another picture of the sliding glass door. A picture of the private property sign on the sliding glass door. A different angle of the same. And I did not take those pictures.
Without any other motive. So, let's take the first.
I didn't count them, but yes, just the exterior area up to
Look at that one.
yes, up to this point.
So those photos that you were just looking at, the first 8 of which you said that were, oh, did I leave? Oh, that's yours.
I don't know. That wasn't mine. I don't know where it was left.
I don't think that was mine either.
Sorry.
So the first 8 of those photos in defense what's been marked for identification as Defense Exhibit B. You took those photos?
Yes.
And were they a fair and accurate representation of the photos that you took that night?
Yes.
May I have a moment to confirm with council?
Sure.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Okay.
Did you redirect?
No, Your Honor.
She excused?
Yes, sir.
You're excused. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Judge, can we approach?
Yes, ma'am? You need a break?
You know, I hate, people like this get on my nerve. And I noticed it with all guilty people. I noticed it with Jonathan Quillis, with Jarvis Butts, and now this lady. It ain't nothing on that pad. I think what they should do is, at the end of every day, they should show us what they was writing on the pad. Because I promise you, it's nothing. I'm almost willing to bet nothing's on that pad. Nothing of substance.
So leave your notebooks here and return to the jury. Remember, you cannot discuss the case, okay?
Yeah, get on up, lady. Hold on, y'all. I ain't gonna let y'all have to listen to all this extra shit. Let's get it.
And raise your right hand, face the clerk.
Do you swear to affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth shall be had? I do.
Have a seat, please. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Shorty look like a young Ricky Lake. I'm happy to be here.
Hello,
Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
I'm Catherine Medina.
She lost all that weight.
I work for the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
And what do you do for them?
I am a forensic crime scene supervisor now.
How long have you been in crime scene work at the Sheriff's Office?
Just about 9 years now.
Can you describe for the jury your training and experience that allows you to do crime scene work?
I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice with a specialization in criminalistics. And while I was in college, I volunteered for 3 years with the Polk County Sheriff's Office, their crime scene section. And then after I got hired, we went through a 16-week training process. And then after that, I have about 500 additional hours of specialized training.
Can you direct your attention to June 2nd, 2023? Did you become involved as a crime scene investigator in the case of State of Florida versus Susan Lorincz?
I did.
Did you end up going to the hospital to document Miss Owens, Miss Ajika Owens?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and did you take photographs of certain things and clothing and things like that?
Yes, I did.
Is that standard procedure in any kind of homicide?
Yes.
After you finished there at the hospital, where did you go?
After the hospital, I went to the incident location.
Was that in Marion County?
Yes, it was.
What was going on when you arrived at the scene?
At the scene, our DNA technician, Taylor Paxton, was finishing processing the outside, and a search warrant was being completed for the interior of the residence.
Is a search warrant a document that allows you and law enforcement officers to go inside a location and collect evidence?
Yes.
And is that signed by a judge?
Yes, it is.
Did you have, we've already heard from crime scene investigator Paxton, did you have any involvement in processing the outside on the grass area?
No, I did not.
What was your focus?
My focus was mostly on the inside of the residence.
Did you take photographs of the residence and the inside of the house and things that you found inside that were relevant?
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
I want to ask you guys a question. How did you guys feel about on the first day that she was interrogated, her being able to be let go? I want to know right now, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. What do you think about that? Because she was let go, she was escorted home. It was a lot of things, and I feel like on the date of the killing that they had enough significant evidence to go ahead and lock her up that day, not just detain her. And I want to know for the people who did watch the documentary and have been watching and been following along with the trial with us, what do you feel about that?
Showing you photograph 19 of States 1. What do we see here?
Right now you're standing in the lawn area on the side of the building, the quadruplex. Right now we are facing her, the unit 3.
And her meaning Miss Lawrence's.
Yes.
Photograph
No.
20.
I'm so sorry. Let me correct myself. That was, yes, Miss Lawrence.
Okay. The defendant.
Yes.
Showing you photograph 20 of States 1. What do we see here?
Right now you're standing at the exiting or entrance of the porch, and you can see the sliding glass doors and the front door.
Photograph 21 of States 1. What about this?
This is a close-up of the sliding glass door.
And what did you notice on the sliding glass door?
There was a sign that said no trespassing, and there was a camera that was taped to the inside of the door.
Did you examine the sliding glass doors?
Yes, I did.
Did you notice any damage to them?
No, I did not.
Any cracks, dents, breaks, anything like that?
No, I did not.
Any dents to the frame around the sliding glass door, the handle?
No.
You mentioned a camera that was taped on the inside of the sliding glass door?
Yes, the camera was taped on the inside, but the camera itself was facing outward.
There's no way that she should have felt like it was a threat. You had a camera, you had everything that you needed to stay protected, and then you were behind, you know what I'm saying, a concrete door with a bolt lock. Now, you never once mentioned that she was beating on your sliding door. And that would probably be the only thing that would have made me feel like there was a threat. If you're just beating on my front door, it goes to show you that you're not trying to get in my house, because everybody would have known that would have been the door that would have been most vulnerable. You feel me? Like, that is crazy to me.
Is that the black box we see to the right of the handwritten no trespassing sign?
Yes.
It's photograph 22 of Stage 1. Is that just a close-up of what you described?
Yes, it is.
Showing you photograph 23 of States 1. What is this?
This is the front door on the exterior side.
You mentioned the ring camera, or the camera on the inside of the sliding glass door. Did you have any involvement in examining that ring camera or seeing if there was any footage collected from that ring camera?
No.
That was somebody else's job?
Correct.
Turning to the front door, what did you notice of significance in the front door?
On the exterior, before going in, I did observe a hole that was suspected to be a gunshot hole.
And where on the door was that located?
It is on the first column, the second row, right there where the pointer is.
Before we get to that hole in the door, that bullet hole, showing you photograph 24 of States 1. Did you notice any damage to the door's locking mechanisms, the doorknob, the deadbolt, anything like that?
No, I did not.
Did you look for such damage?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, because you got to be able to justify that AJ came over there with a threat. Now, we've seen AJ. AJ wasn't a small woman. You feel what I'm saying? I didn't kick in the door and made a dent, and I'm half of AJ. So I know if she really wanted to dent that bitch up, she could have. So I'm not understanding why she felt so compelled to shoot through the door. You dig what I mean? You beating on that door wouldn't have made me scared. You throwing something at my glass door might have made me feel some type of way. And she never once did that shit.
Showing you photograph 25 of States 1. Did you notice any damage to the door frame?
Yes, I did.
Explain what you saw.
There was cracks along the door frame near the strike plates.
Did you notice any evidence of repair to that area?
Yes, it appeared to be partially repaired.
And I'm looking at the things that's on her table right here. Now, I ain't the smartest person, but if she was beaten to where everything was moving like she said, it would just seem like that motherfucking lamp would be as close to that wall the way that it is. Now, you got to understand, these people took these pictures and shit after the fact. So I don't think that in the midst of killing somebody that you're going to go and straighten your furniture back up. Now, she made it seem like when AJ was beating on the door, it was making everything in her house shift off the wall. That was her exact words. The pictures was moving off the wall, which means that table that's right near the wall, that lamp would have shifted or some shit. Why is everything seeming like it hadn't moved? I'm not understanding that shit. That's not even making no sense to me.
And explain what you saw.
Inside of the cracks, there were some screws that appeared to be on top of the cracks. And the deadbolt strike plate was on top of the crack, as well as it did not have significant damage to it. And the bottom lock strike plate had what appeared to be regular wear and tear on it.
Okay. Did you notice any wooden splinters or remnants of the door in the area, either right outside or right inside of the door on the ground?
No, I did not.
Did you look for that evidence?
Yes, I did.
Photograph 26 of stage 1. What do we see here?
This is a close-up of the suspected suspected bullet hole on the exterior side of the door.
In photograph 27, what does this show?
This is a close-up of the suspected bullet hole with a marker with a scale of measurement and a pointer, which is labeled A.
And why did you choose A to designate this bullet hole?
We typically have easels and pointers, and our easels have numbers and our pointers have letters to distinguish the two.
When you were examining the exterior of the door, did you look to see if there was any damage to the exterior of the door itself, besides the bullet hole?
I did examine it.
And what did you find?
I did not see anything of significance.
Any dents on it?
No.
Any scratches?
No.
Any other holes?
No.
She just took a mother away from kids for no reason. Just because your own selfish ass ego, bro.
Did you also measure the location of the bullet hole in reference to the side of the door and the bottom of the door?
Yes, I did.
Why do you do that?
We used that to map it so that it could be recreated if necessary.
Showing you photograph 28 of States 1. What do we see here?
This is the tape measure at the bottom of the door to show where we placed it.
And photograph 29 of States 1. What does this show?
This is a close-up of the suspected bullet hole and the tape measure from the bottom up to the top, showing you a close-up of the measurement of the hole.
And what was the measurement of the hole? How high from the bottom of the door was the hole located?
The center of the hole is typically what we measure, and the center of that hole was a little bit less than 52 inches high.
Showing you photograph 30 of States 1.
Which means she shot upward. Because she's shorter than AJ. So she didn't just shoot through the door. She shot upward to be able to strike somebody. She wasn't just shoot. That's some bullshit. Look where the hole is at, bro.
When you went inside of the house, did you also examine the inside of the door?
Yes, I did.
Showing you photograph 31 of States 1. What did you notice on the inside of the door?
The inside of the door also had a suspected bullet hole that was in a similar area as the exterior hole.
Was it in a location consistent with one hole being an entrance and one hole being an exit?
Yes, it appeared to be, yes.
And for the record, how did you designate the inside damage to the door from that bullet?
We used the pointer B to distinguish the two that are different, and then the scale of measure is also on the side of it.
Did you notice any damage except for the hole to the inside of the door? Any dents, scratches, anything?
No, I did not.
Did you again measure the distance of the inside bullet hole from the bottom of the door?
Yes, I did.
Showing you photograph 32 of States 1. What does this show?
This is showing the overall scale of the tape measure from the bottom to the hole.
And photograph 33 of Stage 1, what was the measurement of the location of the hole?
The center of the hole appeared to be 52 inches.
Did you also measure the location of the bullet holes on the inside and outside of the door as it relates to the unhinged side of the door where it would open and close?
Yes.
And you photograph 31 of Stage 1. What do we see here?
This is the tape measure showing from the hole from the interior and the unhinged side of the door.
And what was the, showing you photograph 35 of Stage 1, what was the distance of the hole from the unhinged side of the door?
It was just under 10 inches.
Did you do the same thing on the outside of the door?
Yes, I did.
Showing you photograph 36 of Stage 1, is that what this shows?
Yes.
Photograph 37 of Stage 1, what was the distance from the
Nah,
unhinged side
bro.
of the door horizontally?
This was also just under 10 inches.
She was going to that range and everything practicing to kill this lady. She had already knew what she was going to do. She got upset that every time that the police came, they wasn't taking AJ to jail and they wasn't taking nobody to jail. And she took that shit to heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, I don't understand how people, and I quote, I don't understand how people could not know somebody and get this personal with people. This is the craziest shit in the world. I'm a Virgo. I don't like stuff like that. You dig what I mean? I take them type of shits very, very seriously. What? Yo, what the fuck?
Showing you photograph 38 of Stage 1, what do we see in this photograph?
This is the front door being open, and inside you can, or towards the center, there is a trajectory rod that is going through the two holes.
Explain what a trajectory rod is.
A trajectory rod is a metal rod that is used to go through the possible bullet hole to show a possible trajectory path of the bullet.
And we see, is that what we see in the photograph, the yellow item is the rod?
Yes, correct.
Is that one rod or two rods?
That is one rod.
So it's gone completely through
Yo.
the door, through the two.
This lady was beaten so bad, but shit like umbrellas that would fall very easily and stuff is still intact. I'm not understanding how hard she was really banging. You feel me? And it also makes me feel like she was just banging on the wall next door to the neighbor. Because the neighbor said that shit was moving on her wall. I think she was just actually banging on her wall to make it seem a lot intense, more intense than what it was. Because that's just not mad. That's not adding up to me.
Holes.
Yes, correct.
We also see some black items that are close to the door on the end of each of the trajectory rods on the doors.
But the trajectory rod looked like it's going down and not up. That makes it even worse, right? Because how was she holding the gun? That ain't making no sense.
Side of it. What are those?
Those are cones that we use. We use them so that the trajectory rod is placed into the center of the hole and so that it is more stable.
Okay, and what do you mean by that? How do you do that?
We use the cone and then the rod goes through the cone so it's right in the center of it, and then we push the cone into the hole gently so that we're not changing or altering the hole itself.
I'm assuming that not all holes are the exact same size as the trajectory rod.
That's correct.
Okay. Do those black rubber stoppers give that some stability?
Yes.
Have you had any training in dealing with trajectory rods and placements and things like that?
I've gone to one shooting reconstruction class where we did use them, and I've also practiced and used it in my college education.
Did you measure the angle by which that trajectory rod entered the door on both the inside and outside?
Yes, I did.
And what's the point of doing that?
That's to show the angle, whether it's upward or downward, to show the path of the bullet hole.
And what does photograph 39 of States 1 show?
The picture is showing the cone is the little black part through the hole, and then the trajectory rod is the yellow, and the orange box is the digital angle finder that is attached to the trajectory rod.
And how does it get attached to the trajectory rod?
It's magnetic.
Okay, so it just sticks on there?
Correct.
Okay, and what was the angle, the trajectory angle according to the angle finder?
On the inside of the door, it appeared to be 8.8 degrees.
Did you do the same thing on the outside?
Yes, I did.
the same process you just described?
Yes, correct.
And what was the angle on the outside of the door?
From the outside, it was 7.8 inches. Or, I'm sorry, 7.8 degrees.
To me, looking at it like this makes it even worse. Cause it makes it seem like you was really trying to hurt this lady. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? There's no way she should have been.
Are those, the trajectory rods that are used, are they, what are they made of? Are they metal, are they stiff, or are they all pliable?
They're metal and they are stiff.
This is more than white privilege. Look at this shit.
41 of States 1. Explain what we're looking at here.
So right now I am standing inside the living room area, looking towards the door and the wall behind the door. The rod is to the right inside of the door, so you can see the yellow rod, the black cone, and then on the opposite end of the cone is the black laser. That's the applicator for the laser. It is attached, it just screws into the trajectory rod, and then from there you turn it on, and it shows the trajectory path of the bullet potentially, and we just photographed it at that.
And generally, if the gun was fired from the inside of the house through the door outside of the house, what kind of angle did the trajectory laser show?
Yep, that's taken. I can agree with that.
It just shows the angle of either the shooter or the bullet, depending on which way you have the laser.
Was it from the inside of the house? Was it an upward or downward angle?
From the inside of the house, it was downward, and the inside of the hole, the metal piece of the door was going inward, and on the outside of the door, the metal was protruding outward.
And what does that tell you as far as the direction of travel of the projectile?
It appears
Objection,
that...
Your Honor. May we approach? Sure.
No, don't be trying to object now, because that's the part I want to hear about.
Overrule the objection.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Okay.
You mentioned that the metal on the interior of the door was pressed inward into the door, and the metal on the exterior of the door was pressed outward outside the door.
Correct, yes.
What does that tell you about the direction of travel of the projectile? Was it from the inside of the house, shot through the door, to the outside, or vice versa?
That shows that the bullet came from the inside of the house and is outside because of the metal protruding outward.
Photograph 42 of States 1. What do we see here?
This is the second half of the trajectory laser that was shown.
Photograph 43 of States 1. Did you locate anything in the corner of the inside of the house by the door in the corner?
Yes, I did.
What did you see?
There was a dark color umbrella.
Thank you, Ruby Ballard.
And you photograph 44 of States 1. What is that?
That is a close-up of the umbrella.
May I approach?
Sure.
I mean,
Exhibit L for identification.
Oh, I thought they was about to huddle with the judge again.
You recognize it?
I do.
What is it?
This is the umbrella from behind the front door.
Is that pipe sealed?
It is.
already heard about how evidence is sealed. I'm not going to ask you those questions again. But can you open it up, look inside, and tell me if you recognize the contents?
I was about to say, what type of fucking glasses do you got going on? Is they Meta? Because I ain't seen the motherfucker open up no bag and she talking about she recognized the contents. I was about to say, what type of shit you got on, lady? The fuck? Nah, for real.
I do recognize it.
What is it?
That is the dark color umbrella that is behind the front door.
Is it in the same or substantially the same condition as when you collected it?
Yes.
This time state would move L into evidence as 10.
No objection, Your Honor.
Objection, states L, unanimous, to states number 10. Yes, sir?
Thank you, Charlotte Stewart.
Thank you. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you those. Can you describe to the jury the interior of the house?
The interior of the house was furnished. It was well kept. It was clean.
Can you describe kind of the layout of the house?
So when you first walk into the entryway, on the left side is your living room. Straight ahead from you would be a small round table with 2 chairs, which is the dining area. Past the dining area was a galley kitchen. To the left of the galley kitchen was a laundry room and pantry. And then back when you're in the living room, on your left side, there...
Okay, pardon me. I just don't understand what this part of the testimony got anything to do on why she shot AJ. To figure out how her layout of her whoop the fucking do. Like, we don't give a fuck about what she got going on in her living room and shit. What we need to know is, did she stand on top of the couch when she shot that gun? How did the angle go downward? You feel me? Was it from recoil? What's going on? That's the only reason why I should know anything about some fucking furniture. What in the fuck do the layout got to do with if her being tidy and if she cleans got to do anything with her shooting AJ? Because, see, that's when I'll be like, I object. Like, bitch, we talking about shit, we wasting the court's tape, and you got that lady typing for some unnecessary shit. She don't need to be typing for some shit about the couch being, you know what I mean, the house being clean. You fucking that lady hands up.
There's a hallway that had a bathroom and 2 bedrooms.
So what, photograph 45 of stage 1, what perspective is this?
This is from standing inside the entryway, and you're looking straight ahead, so you can see the dining area and the kitchen, and on the left side is the living room.
And you mentioned a hallway leading to the bedroom. Is that the bedrooms, is that down this direction?
Yes,
On
it
the
would
left
be.
photo?
Yes.
See, I'm not understanding that part. AJ wasn't back there. Fuck we seeing that for? Bananas and shit. All right, let me go pee, man. This shit about pissing me off.
Is the kitchen area behind these white cabinets in the middle of the photograph?
Yes.
Photograph 46 of stage 1. You mentioned the table and the 2 small chairs in front of the kitchen. Is that what we see here?
Yes.
Photograph 47 of stage 1. What are we looking at here?
This is standing partially inside of the kitchen, looking at the kitchen countertop.
And where is that table, that small table and the 2 chairs we saw in the previous photo?
You can partially see it in the background, so it's just past on the right side.
Over here?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Did you locate anything of significance on the counter in the middle of this photograph?
Yes, I did.
What'd you find?
There's a spent cartridge casing on the countertop.
Is that designated by easel 1?
Yes.
Showing what's marked as state specific M as in van. Recognize that?
I do.
Can you open it up, look inside, and tell me if you recognize the contents?
If she go in this bag and pull out a toaster, I'm gonna be mad as fuck. Cause what's she pulling out, y'all? Now, y'all. Cause the fuck. Okay, got you, Wilder, did Jesus.
I do recognize.
See, I get that part. If nothing was disturbed, but I would have just thought they would at least took the pictures of the table that's right near the door, the kitchen and shit. Unless that lady is Bigfoot, it is nowhere in the world nothing in the kitchen could have got disturbed. Like I just feel like sometimes they just be doing unnecessary shit.
What is it?
It is the spent cartridge casing from the kitchen counter.
Is it in the same or substantially the same condition as when you collected it that evening?
Yes.
It's time state would move M into evidence as 11.
No objection, Your Honor.
The objection states N would be in evidence as number 11.
Showing photograph 48 of states 1. Is that close of a casing?
Yes, it is.
What caliber was the casing?
It was a Blazer 380 Auto.
And how do you know that?
It's marked on the head stamp of each casing what kind it is.
So, is this where the casing was collected, or this where where after she shot, this where it went? It landed right next to the tomatoes. Is that what they fucking trying to tell me? Huh? So you mean to try to tell me that she was standing that far away? Okay, hold on. Let me see something.
So going back to photograph 45 of states 1, the casing that you found that we just looked at, would that be just underneath the backside of this white cabinet
Yes.
on the counter?
Yes.
Photograph 49 of states 1. What perspective is this photograph?
This is when you're standing in the entryway facing a little left, so you can see the living room and the hallway.
The kitchen we just looked at, would that be to the right of this photograph?
Yes, correct.
And what's down this hallway?
That hallway contained 2 closets, a bathroom, and 2 bedrooms.
And photograph 50 of states 1, what perspective is this?
This is when you're standing on the other side of the living room, so near the dining room table, and you're looking towards the front, which is the front door and the sliding glass door.
And these curtains that we see on the right side of the photograph, are those covering the inside portion of the sliding glass doors?
Yes, it is.
Back to photograph 49. Did you go into the master bedroom?
Yes, I did.
Showing you photograph 51. What do we see here?
This is from standing at the entryway of the master bedroom, and that is looking into the bedroom.
Did you search this bedroom also?
Yes.
Was there a trash can located next to the bed in this bedroom?
Yes.
Showing you photograph 52. What does this show?
This is showing the bed on the left side, and then you have a nightstand on the right, and in between the two is the trash can.
Did you locate anything of significance in that trash can underneath the marker number 3?
I did, yes.
What'd you find?
There were 2 firearms.
Okay. Showing you photograph 53 of states 1. What does this show?
This is showing a close-up of the easel number 3, and inside of the trash can you can see the 2 firearms.
Photograph 54. What do we see here?
This is the firearm that was on top. It was inside of a holster.
And what kind of firearm was that?
That is a Ruger LCP 2.
You know what caliber?
It's a .22 long rifle caliber.
Showing you photograph 55 of states 1. What does this show?
This is the firearm that is outside of the holster now.
You said this is a .22 caliber firearm. Is that a different caliber than the caliber of the casing that you found on the counter?
Yes.
Photograph 56 of states 1. Was this firearm loaded?
Yes, it was.
Do you remember with how many rounds?
There was 1 round in the chamber and 7 rounds in the magazine.
This lady had every intention to
And
kill
photograph
somebody.
57 of states 1. What does this show?
This shows the ammunition that was inside of the magazine.
Did you collect this firearm as well as the ammunition?
Yes, I did.
Showing you what's been marked as states exhibit N as in Nancy and O. Take a look at those items and tell me if you recognize them.
I do.
What are they?
The one in the bag is item 17, and that is the 8 rounds of ammunition that were inside of the Ruger firearm. And then the other one is the Ruger firearm and the holster and the magazine.
Do you normally, by policy, package the ammunition found in a firearm separately from the firearm?
Yes, we do.
Why is that?
That's for safety reasons, so that it cannot be reloaded by any chance inside of there, and for processing purposes.
Can you please open those items up, look inside, and tell me if you recognize the contents? Okay, specifically, let's start with State's Exhibit N as in Nancy. What is that, the box?
This is the firearm, the holster, and the magazine.
Is it in the same or substantially the same condition as when you collected it from that trash can that evening?
Yes.
This time, State would move N as in Nancy into evidence as State's 12.
No objection, Your Honor.
Without objection, State's N to be in evidence as number 12.
And moving on to the bag, State's O. What's in there?
Those are 8 rounds of ammunition
Are
from
they
the
in the same?
magazine.
I'm sorry. Are they in the same or substantially the same conditions when you collected them?
Yes, they are.
This time, State would move O into evidence as 13.
No objection, Your Honor.
Without objection, State's O to be in evidence as number 13. Was the magazine with 13? Or was that separate?
12.
Okay.
And with the court permission, may I ask the bailiff to take a look at it and put a trigger lock on it?
Sure.
You know, this is terrible as hell. Do you know them babies seeing their mama just get unalive in front of them is gonna live with them forever, bro? Oh, the oldest son broke my heart so bad.
For the record, Your Honor, there is a trigger lock now on the 22 caliber firearm.
All right.
You published the firearm history? That trash can, all right?
Right.
Sorry, y'all. I had to speed past it. YouTube be making me nervous with showing certain things.
This is the second firearm that was inside of the trash can.
So you picked up the 22 caliber Ruger we just looked at, and this was underneath it?
Yes.
Photograph 59 of States 1. What do we see here?
This is showing it outside.
State photograph.
The 3. Yeah. I do.
What are they?
The box is the Remington firearm and 2 magazines and a Ruger gun pouch, which is what it was in. And then the bag has 4 rounds of ammunition that were from the firearm.
Can you open those items up?
Lady, just keep the gloves on. Look at her. Look at her over there.
Referring to.
Look at that over there, soggy.
Paul,
And
June 2nd. Was that her own test you just mentioned? Recognized Q and
Q be in evidence.
15. Yes, sir.
P is 14, Q is 15.
Yep, she bought the gun 2 weeks before the incident. She did.
And with the court's permission, I'm going to provide the 380 Remington to the court deputy to put a trigger lock on it.
All right.
Vic, go to bed.
Pulses.
no, I did not.
I noticed that while you've been in the stand, you keep changing your gloves. What precautions do crime scene investigators
Oh, it's important to change the gloves.
for those purposes?
On scene, we put our hair up so that we're not dropping any hair on the ground, and we put gloves on so that we're not transferring any of our DNA to anywhere else that we're touching or collecting. And there's other precautions that we can also take for other parts of us.
And for housekeeping purposes, marker 1 was the casing on the kitchen counter.
Correct.
Marker 3 were the firearms in the trash can.
Yes.
Marker 4 was the
I think what bothered me and hurt my feelings a lot was the fact that you could see the people waving the police down when they were pulling up. And the fact of the matter, when they was finally happy to see the police, how the police pretty much walked around their mother. You know what I'm saying? No aid was provided until after the fact. After the victim was subdued, after the victim, was taken care of first. And I just really don't feel like she should have been the priority. You dig what I mean? Now, we're going to get into more of the pathology and things like that to see if the lady would have been able to live, if AJ would have been able to live even with that gunshot rule. But I still feel like every second count. And they didn't, everything just seemed weird as fuck to me.
umbrella.
Yes.
What happened to marker 2?
Marker 2 was placed down on the dining room table in error, and it was in one of my photographs, so number 2 was skipped.
Okay, so that didn't designate anything.
Correct.
Used. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. No other questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hello.
You were the only crime scene technician who responded out to the scene, right?
Yes.
And you observed damage to the door frame of Miss Lorincz, is that right?
Yes, I did.
And you took pictures of said damage, correct?
Correct.
There was some damage on the interior side of the door frame near the strike plate, right?
Yes, there was.
The wood was broken and cracked, right?
Yes.
There were a few no trespassing signs around the residence, is that right?
Yes.
One up front in the grass, correct?
Yes.
One on the sliding glass door that was next to her front entrance door, correct?
Yes.
And one on the side window, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you've never been qualified as an expert in a court of law in ballistics or trajectory analysis, is that right?
Yes.
And that's because you just don't have the training, knowledge, education, and experience to testify in that capacity, is that right?
Correct.
And certainly you are not testifying today as an expert in the field of ballistics and trajectory analysis, right?
Correct.
Do you know the make and model of the trajectory rods that you used in this case?
No, I do not.
Did you calibrate the trajectory rods?
No, I did not.
Do you know what the error rate for trajectory rods, what those are?
No, I do not.
Do you know the make and model of the digital angle finder that you used in this case?
At this time, I do not.
Do you know the make and model of the laser that you used in this case?
No, I do not.
What's the error rate for the digital angle finder that you used in this case?
I have learned that the angle finder's error rate is 0.1 degrees.
Okay. And you didn't calibrate the digital angle finder at all before you used it, right?
No, I did not.
And you don't know how to calibrate them, correct?
According to previous things that I have experienced that have been calibrated before, it's with an instrument that we do not have.
Okay. So you didn't calibrate it, right?
Correct.
Okay. As far as you know, the digital angle finder that was used in this case has never been calibrated, right?
That's correct.
And you don't know if it's supposed to be calibrated, do you?
I'm not sure.
And you've had this instrument for the last 4 years or so, is that right?
Approximately, yes.
How much does a digital angle finder weigh?
I'm not sure.
Do you know if the weight of the digital angle finder, if that could affect the outcome of the measurements?
It could have.
But you don't know how much the weight of the digital angle finder can affect the outcome of the measurements, right?
That's correct.
You only placed the digital angle finder on the rod and took measurements once on each side, is that right?
That's correct.
Could you have done it more than once on each side?
I could have.
Okay, but you chose not to?
I chose not to because I don't want to continue to change it, because if it does change, then you wouldn't know which one to go with.
So if you did it, you didn't do it because if you did it more than once and it would change, you just have no idea which one is right?
You wouldn't know how to document it correctly.
And both can be right and both can be wrong? Or both can be wrong, right?
Both could be, yeah.
And you never calibrated the digital angle finder and took additional measurements, right?
Correct.
You don't have an opinion in regard to having a 1 degree or so difference from the outside, from the inside and the outside measurements, right?
No, I do not.
And that's just because you don't have the knowledge, training, and experience to do that kind of analysis, right?
Correct.
Can you tell us the make and model of the laser beam that you used in this case?
No, I cannot.
You don't know the error rate of said laser beam, is that right?
No, I do not.
You didn't calibrate the laser beam, is that right?
Correct.
And you've had this instrument the last 4 years or so, the laser beam, right?
Approximately, yes.
Do you know what azimuth is?
No, I do not.
And you didn't measure the azimuth, which is the horizontal angle, right?
Correct, I did not.
Do you ever do that?
No, I do not.
Do you know why?
I don't know what it is, so in my experience and training, I have not learned what that is.
Okay, understood. Is there a specific way of photographing? Well, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. You found a shell casing on the kitchen counter next to the stove, right?
I was on the kitchen counter. I'm not sure if it was
Kitchen
next to the stove.
Okay. And you photographed it and put it into evidence, right?
I did.
And in regard to the rods, the digital angle finder, the laser beam, and all the work that you did on that door, you did it all by yourself with no other help from anyone else. Is that right?
Correct. I was the only one that was touching the laser finder or any of the equipment.
Okay. I'd like to show you what's marked as Exhibit E. Is that right? Got me approach?
Yes, ma'am, sir.
Again, I'd like to show you what's marked as Exhibit E. Can you take a look at all the stories, please?
Thank you. Okay.
Are those pictures that you took on the day in question?
Yes, they are.
Okay, and you took them yourself?
I did.
And are all the pictures that you just saw in what's been marked for identification purposes as Defense Exhibit A a fair and accurate representation of all the pictures or some of the pictures that you took when you went to process the scene?
Yes, they are.
Okay. I appreciate your time. Thank you for your patience. I have no further questions for me.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
She excused?
She is.
You're excused. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
I ain't trying to be funny, but I know she was happy to get off that stand. Because don't be coming at me acting like I don't know shit in life. You know what I'm saying? Ma'am, do you understand what pi is? 3.14. I would have been like, bitch, do you know where your wife at? You feel me? You ain't finna just sit me on here acting like I don't know what I'm doing with my job. You know what I mean? Or whatever. That's why your client soggy. Piss me off. Y'all hold on real quick, bro. That shit fucked up. It would have made me mad as hell